What's up, my friends? Welcome to Daisy's Garden. In this one, I was going to discuss the ego and just pretty much like an overview of it and traps to fall into when it comes to your ego and your higher self. So that's what this video is going to be about. So I wanted to start with kind of like a definition of what the ego really is, and it is pretty much you. Like, whatever your name is, your personality, the way you perceive the world is pretty much ruled by your ego. In consciousness, there's your ego, and then there's your higher self, which is a higher consciousness. And the problem with the ego is when you get very into things in this reality in terms of, honestly, it could be anything. Even if it's a positive thing, it's still ego-driven. You know, you could be helping homeless people in a shelter, or, you could be, doing heroin or something. That's kind of all spectrums of, in degree of what the ego can do. And another thing is language. Language is ego-driven. Pretty much everything. I mean, it's hard to explain what the ego is when the ego is presenting itself right now. Like Vinny, this ego right now is trying to explain what an ego is, so it's kind of hard to put into words to explain to people. Something for me, when, obviously in my past discussing with, being anxious and depressed a lot, I realized that, it was definitely because I was so rooted in the ego, and you get so rooted into what you perceive as reality that you make it that's all it is. So it becomes kind of pointless, and then that's where, for me, when I got depressed, like, it really drug me down was, when I was just very down and life seemed boring and wasn't very fun. And now I never use the word boring anymore, because life is there's so much to do, there's so much to explore, so much to think about, so much to do, and not even just in this reality in the world, but in your own head. Like sitting down and meditating and just being aware of awareness itself and being conscious of consciousness itself, and that's it, is so powerful. And I've been having meditations lately where I'll just sit, get in that meditative state of, what I do first is I'll start breathing. I'll just focus on a breath and count in, hold it, count out, and just really get in that mode. And then I try to just, instead of letting, like just thoughts go and pass and stuff, I try to now just kind of erase them by focusing on just sensations and focusing on what you see, what you feel, what you hear, but not attaching to it. Like, not if you're looking at maybe a crystal, maybe you're looking, you're having like a cool amethyst or a citrine or something cool, helping you along your meditation session, bringing those good vibes to your session. I could see, because this is something that I did, is I'd look at it and I think about how beautiful it was and how cool it looked, but that's, even though it's not a bad thing, it's still an attachment. It's still an ego thing. You're still attached to it in some way. So you have to break yourself from that. You have to break yourself from the attachment, whether it's good or bad. If you're just in a state of just being, then it helps you detach from that more. Because even though positivity is an amazing thing and it's great to portray, and I love doing that, when it comes down to it, you can't really do that if you're really working on, a no self, because, it's gonna be part of your ego regardless of if it's good or bad. So I feel like it's just a lot of times when people get really down on themselves or get anxious or things like that, they're very rooted in their ego in that moment. Maybe because I still get periods of time where I get down or I get anxious, and I'm not trying to at all say that I'm like better than people or I'm like this enlightened being or something. I'm working to that, and I'm scratching the surface of it. But it's really fun to think about how Your ego is just such a manipulative feature of yourself. It's weird because you have this distorted view on reality and perception and consciousness and other people and just reality in general when you're so rooted in yourself, your actual, like, my Vinny self. You know, if you're focused on your higher self and transcending to that higher state of awareness and consciousness, it really can I don't know, it can really aid you, like, honestly, because when I was in this boat where I was feeling like down on myself, and sometimes I'd stumble upon like a quote or something that when I look back on it, I'm like, damn, like that has so much truth to it. And you know, it was something cool to read, but it was something that, you know, I was like, well, that's not even feasible. That's not something you can actually do. And then, you know, years down the road, you know, it totally is, because your mind is so incredibly powerful. And if you're on this journey already and on this path, you kind of already realize that it's, you know, very crazy. But like for me, when I wasn't, you know, you just kind of felt like reality was just as it was, and not in a sense of like an awareness to like how it was, but like it was just kind of boring to me. Like I always was like, wow, well, this is it, like this is what life is. And I don't know, I just felt like it was boring, and like everyone did the same thing. And even though there was some uniqueness, you know, you could do music or art, you know, art, I feel like art was kind of like the best outlet you could do, but I never realized how important thinking and raising your consciousness and becoming aware and stuff, it is like a night and day difference now. Like I have gotten way more happy, my outlook on life is way better, my anxiety is pretty much gone. It's really awesome. And so I don't know, I just wanted to discuss the ego and you know, how it can just root itself in you by just honestly going out throughout your regular life. It's not like digging you deeper into your ego, but it's hard to be a part of society when you have an ego. You know, so in order to socialize, even with your friends, with anybody, you kind of have to put your costume of the ego back on in order to discuss things and to converse. Because, you know, if you are egoless, or you're just, you know, you have no self or whatever, you know, you're just sitting there and you're just aware and you're just conscious of that. And I mean, I haven't experienced that, so I can't really say from experience that that's like exactly like what will happen. But, you know, in work that I've researched and, you know, things I've started to really go through myself, it's pretty cool. Like, just already, just getting a taste of what it's like is just like awesome. So I'm really excited to see where this takes me, and hopefully if you're all on the same journey, where it takes you too. You know, see what I did there? You, because it doesn't exist. So I just wanted to make a little video about the ego, kind of help you be aware of the fact that there's pretty much two sides of you. You know, you have your main ego, and then you have that higher self, that, you know, that intuition, that voice in the back of your head, you know. Well, I guess not so much the voice in the back of your head, because normally that's kind of like a conscious in terms of like morality, but morality is kind of relative, so I don't know. Yeah, I guess just your higher self, I guess, is what I would say. But yeah, so I hope you're all having a great day today. Hope your ego is becoming less, or you're at least bettering your ego. I guess that's what I could say. Bettering your ego and kind of being aware of your higher self and just kind of working to see what that's all about, because it's what I'm working on, and it's pretty damn fun so far. So I would definitely recommend it to anybody else that is interested in it or wants to try it out. You know, I think it would definitely be worth it. But yeah, so that will be all for this one. Hope you're all having a great day, of course. And it's winter time now. I put up a nature vlog the other day, which was hell to film. In terms of, I've had a lot of computer problems with rendering videos, and it took me 4 days to figure out how to render it, and then I had to convert stuff, and kind of a pain in the ass, but now I'm back in it, and hopefully this one will go a little smoother. But if not, who gives a shit? it'll be all right, guys. I'll figure something out eventually. But until then, that'll be this ego episode. And yeah, so hope you're all having a great day. Have those happy winter trails. And don't forget those nature baths and prana breaths to help keep you grounded in this moment.